Caesar Smith returned to Vietnam just after the Tet Offensive. He had been promoted to captain and was given command of the 82nd Airborne's newly formed Delta Company.
And I'm standing there thinking now, what company commander is willing to give up some of his good men and he's getting ready to face combat? So I figured, okay, this company's made up of anybody and everybody they want to get rid of, plus some new people who've never been in combat. And that was the unit that I got over there. But within 10 days, we were a good unit, and we served well.
Smith's first mission was to find and destroy a hidden cache of weapons.
They're anticipating, they're scared to death, their heart's beating 1,000 beats a minute, and they're out there in the open with all this gear on their back running in this heat, and some of them just fainting, and so I said, okay, this is not good, so we're just going to stop right out here in the open and regroup. And that didn't take too long. We did get the tree line. Fortunately, we didn't get hit.
Smith and his men made it safely out of the landing zone and into the jungle. A short time later, the young soldiers surprised the enemy.
So we had a firefight. We found the weapons. We thought we had a couple of prisoners, but they died before we could get them on the helicopter. I'm sure some of those kids were just like I was. When I first started, they wanted to freeze. And of course, training is to keep you from doing that. No one knows how you or I are going to act until we face the bullet for the first time. And I'm sure some of those kids were just laying on the ground and hoping they weren't going to get hit. I don't know how many of them got away, but we had some kills and got the weapons. That was the baptism, and after that, they were ready.
Several missions later, Delta Company stopped to rest during a patrol. The seasoned fighters hid themselves in the bush, but one soldier accidentally left his legs uncovered.
And all of a sudden we heard this machine gun fire. It was AK-47. You can tell the sound of them. One sergeant had been shot, and he had died right on the spot, and they were under fire. And what we could assume by the amount of fire, up that hill further was a lot larger unit than we had.
Artillery support was called in. Helicopter gunships sprayed the area where the enemy was hiding, and the company prepared to move to safer ground. Waters rising in a nearby creek threatened to block their retreat. They wrapped the soldier who had been killed in a rain poncho and fell back.
So one platoon would cross and set up a perimeter until the next one crossed. You can imagine under fire, and they had to wrap the sergeant up in ponchos. By this time, the water was as high as under your arms. So you're holding your weapon over your head, and this young soldier and all your equipment trying to get across that while the rest of the platoons are keeping fire from those up there. The amount of fire we were getting was enormous at the time. So finally, me and the last platoon crossed over, and then it was getting close to dark.
Smith's men set up a perimeter guard and waited to evacuate the dead and wounded.
We had to blow up some trees so the helicopter could get down. There wasn't much room where we could get it, but the medevacs, they would come in just about anywhere. Even though we were under fire at the time, they came in and got everybody out. But that was the toughest night, 24 hours that I had while I was over there.
Smith had been told up to 16 men under his command could be killed during his tour of duty. But the young soldier they refused to leave behind was the only one he lost.